Good day, everyone. Welcome to the sixth marathon episode of the Billionaire and the Church Rat. This is the Michelle and Tony show, and I will be the host for this episode. And Tony is basically going to be like our guest speaker, who will be answering the questions we'll be throwing at him. So the name of this episode is Risk: Why Church Rats Fear World Billionaires Chase. Okay, so Tony, I want to just start with this most basic question, right? So like, why is it that some people see danger in opportunities and others see opportunity in danger?
We've talked about like the mindsets of a billionaire and a judge, right? And how it's being wired. How the school system has basically wired us to believe in certain what's called ways, right? Okay. I was watching a video about this woman. She was on an interview, and then she said how the school system has basically taught us not to to believe that we should not fail. That failing is not a good thing, right? We talked about in our last episode that we should not fail, and that we are too scared of failing. We come out of school, we are scared of failing. During exams, we're not allowed to collaborate and cooperate with each other. They don't allow us to network. They didn't teach us that cooperation is key. If you want to improve and get better. So we never saw the need to cooperate when we were in school. So how do you think we have any need to cooperate outside school? So networking wasn't taught, right? The idea of failure being a very bad thing wasn't also taught. Was taught, that was really promoted. So you keep all those certain information that the school is imbibing in most people, and then they grow into the fact that yes, the school system is the way out. So believing what the school system and basically acting it out. So when they leave school, they end up playing that whole game. That what school said is right. So I need to like live, basically just live on the truth that school basically had probably fed to them. So that's why they end up fearing what the rich end up striving. How they start seeing things as like hurdles, right? A no-go area for them, basically. Failing should never be a priority. The failing should never it should never go next to what failure should be tendered. They always want to play it safe, right? They want to be guaranteed of 30K out in the month, right? They want to be guaranteed of bonuses or promotions, or they want to just be guaranteed in this whole life. But this life is all about risk. You cannot really guarantee what tomorrow is, right? So you have to start thinking about how to create yours, how to make stop banking on other people, right?
I just thought about something you said, right? How they find pleasure in the guaranteed amount of money they pay them at the end of the month. So it made me think, like, is having guarantee in something about it, like, is the joy of risk that it is not guaranteed, or is the joy of risk maybe something else, right? Because I understand what risk is and all those things, but like, I mean, do you take risks? Do people take risks? People that take risks, do they take risks because it is not guaranteed? I think when you take risks, that is even when the more you want it to be guaranteed, right? So like, why take the risk? Why not just take the other way out?
For example, now I have a football team that, let's say I'm the best player in my whole team. Like I'm on par with. I'm not like, no one is on par with me in that team. So everybody is basically bad. I'm the best guy there. Do you understand? Then I move on to the next team. I move on to the next level, and everybody who's better than me. But I came with the idea that, but me, if I want to get to the next level, right, I have to play with those people that I feel that are better than me and get better. Do you understand? So once you know that everything around you is more of like, it's just you feel happy doing what you're doing, like you know what's going to happen. You're going to score at the end of the day because everybody is not good. You're going to be the best player at the end of the day. It's predictable what's going to happen. Do you understand? It becomes less fun and less interesting. Do you understand? But that's the whole game of life. If you want to make life interesting, nothing in life is guaranteed. So why is it that your life is not, you now make your own life guaranteed? So the purpose of living is not there. There's no purpose of living. Do you understand? You have to make everything a progressive something. You have to make every stage of your life what's it. You have to make every success in your life worth it, because the moment you know that you from the set goal, that there was nothing in your life that was stopping you from making that goal. Like you feel like throughout your whole process is like you said before on this podcast, you talk about imagine how living a life where you never had problems to share.
Yeah.
People don't see it as anything interesting. People won't acclimatize
don't
to
want
it.
to buy into that
Yeah,
stuff.
and you yourself will not see yourself as like someone that actually achieved something, because you didn't have to go through any problems. Everything was guaranteed for you. Right? You live that life, you feel like you've lived that life, and you don't feel any achievement or what. Your life basically useless life. You just basically like what you just like how do you put it? You just basically flowed through this thing. You just basically walked the earth. You didn't let your presence get felt. Right? You don't have a story to tell at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You just basically existed. Nothing you to show for it. That is how a guaranteed life is. And that is why you have more people hoping for guaranteed life. They want a life where riches and wealth is attained, generational wealth, but they want to be guaranteed. They want everything in their life to be guaranteed. Riches and wealth and fame and all these things, these are lives that you never know tomorrow, because you might have a whole lot of fans today,
Yeah.
right? And tomorrow they will hate on you. You can never tell what side they're going to be on tomorrow. Right? That is not a guaranteed life. Right? So you're just always making sure your life just keeps on getting better. Make sure that problems. The thing is, those people who have guaranteed life never see problems coming. So when problems come, they never know how to what's it called? Overcome
They
them.
don't know how to
Overcome them, and they don't even know how to prevent those problems from occurring, because they've never actually felt what's it called a problem before in their life. They've never seen a problem.
Yeah. There's this like I said before, there's this thing about guarantee not being good, right? But when you take a risk, you now want it to be more guaranteed. So basically, what I got from what you said is that like the guarantee everybody should be chasing after is the guarantee after a risk, right? In as much as nothing is, but now if the guarantee you have is the guarantee when zero risk has been taken, that is basically the risk you should be avoiding. If I'm not mistaken, that's what you're trying to like induce.
So like you're saying that what I said wasn't that there isn't a guarantee when you have a risk to take. You're not guaranteed of anything. You're only given two options. When you are given options to choose from, there's no really
like
guarantee.
I'm not saying that like when you now take that risk, your guarantee like you now want the success to be guaranteed. Like I don't know if you get my point. Like you take a money risk. Like
Yeah, obviously everybody takes
you want that. So the feeling of guarantee now is better off when it came out from risk.
The whole point of this thing is the feeling of guarantee should not just be based on like if you actually look at the word guarantee is something that you were it was you there was the higher possibility it was going to happen. That's a guarantee. There was a higher percentage. It was like it guarantees 100% it was going to happen. There was never an option. So the moment you have options to choose from, you're not really guaranteed of anything, right?
Okay.
The only truth is you want what you are picking to be guaranteed, which is not possible, because nothing in life when you have options is guaranteed. When you have choices to make, nothing in life should be guaranteed. That's the whole essence of life. Once you know that you might not wake up tomorrow, there's a possible chance you might not wake up tomorrow. Everything in life is not guaranteed. So that should be the fun. And that is the purpose of life. The fact that nothing in life is guaranteed. So the point you start to play it safe, you start to make everything guaranteed for yourself. That's when problems start to arise. You start to look at things. You don't tend to push to your limits. You don't tend to supersede things. You don't tend to like want to get better at a specific level. You're okay with being mediocre. You're okay to settle for less, basically. And that's where all these people who come out from school are okay. They're okay to settle for less. They might think, yeah, they are soaring above the highest, they're getting first class, and they're being better than the. No. They are programmed in a specific way to think just neutral, just to think in one lane. Just there's no diverse means to all these other things. They're just programmed to think in just one way, and that is to make sure that if you do this, you are guaranteed of specific things. Do you understand?
Okay.
So there's no like they don't have any other choice. They don't have any choice. They don't have choice to read. They don't have any choice to make when it comes to exams, right? They don't have any choice to make when it comes to moving out. If their school has like a deadline, they don't have any other choice. They just have to move. They're not given any options to make, right? That is the life they have to live. And when they come out of school, what makes you think that you going through that system, believing in that system, what makes you think it will be easier for you to now, like, without getting this kind of information, what makes you think it's easier for those people to become billionaires or become rich in the future? People that never actually saw any fault to the school system, right? People that never actually saw it as do this systematic way that we are being this way we are moving or being told to do this. We don't have any choice to make. Nothing. Is this how the life of a billionaire should be? Is this how the life of a rich person should be? Because rich people don't see things as a guarantee, but they just see they see it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But what people don't see it as an opportunity. What people see it as that they are only saving grace. That's their only saving grace. So they have to just continue doing. They don't see that there's more to just that way of thinking. You understand? So they are closing their minds to a lot of things because of they believe in one systematic way, and so because of they believe in that one systematic way, they don't want to know what's it called. They don't want to know other what's it called forms, other ways to go around that thing because they've been sold the idea and they bought into it. Whereas the billionaires and the rich-minded people, they believe that you have to be open-minded. You have to understand that there are multiple ways to going around things, right? So things in life becomes opportunities for them. They're not closing their mind to just one specific route. So they in life they believe that you always have to make options, and that's why they're not scared of taking risk because they believe that you have to make options, make choices basically. That you have options, you have to make choices.
You know, I have this one question. Like, do you think, based on what you're saying now, I get everything what you're saying, but like, do you think that risk taking is something you are born with or something that you build over time?
Risk taking is something that it depends. Risk taking is risk in general is life, right?
Yeah.
That's just life. It's what life is. So it depends on the person because everything in life is risk, right? Everything you should do in life. Once you know that everything in life is risk and there are choices that you have to make that will be hard, right? You know that nothing is guaranteed in this life. Everything is all about risk. The moment you start to understand that, it's not for you to learn a kind of risk, like the risk management in life. You need to learn that certain ways to manage your risk, to manage your losses, to manage your how you feel.
Yeah.
Right? You're not supposed to learn how to go around making the best risk management and policy or risk management and strategy basically. That's just what you learn. You don't learn how to take risk. You don't learn how to take risk because risk is just everything we do in this life. But you learn how to manage your risk that you're taking, how to manage the risk you're taking. You don't learn how to take risk, but you learn how to manage your risk that you're taking.
Yeah.
So that's just how life is, right?
Okay. So, what do you think? Like, can you just tell us one thing that billionaires know about risk taking that most people don't know? You understand? Like, just one mindset. I know that there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you've said, and there's also things to be said. But like, can you just like one particular one? Understand the one that basically hits the hammer on the head? Like, what do billionaires know about risk, and why are they so overly obsessed with it?
Okay, so billionaires believe that if success in this in general is just basically something that is like a word that people, and there's a lot of terms to success. Different people have like different ways that the term success has. But billionaires look at this life, not nature itself, and how to go about their life as like 5 and 6, they use the ideas or they use what nature is all about to make decisions in life. So they're not scared to take risk because they know life is all about risk. Do you understand?
Okay.
That's the point. That's the whole point about them. They're not scared to take because billionaires feed off nature. Right? They backtest everything that has to do with nature. They don't look at just the now. Look at what has been reoccurring in this life. They look at the past. So they know that what has been reoccurring can also be. It's just something that's just consistent because of nature is consistent. Nature is ever changing, but at the same time it's ever consistent. Do you understand? The change is consistent. So basically, because of change is consistent, and one thing that's consistent in this change is the risk, and now people are implementing risk, right? Yeah. So they understand that this life is all about risk, right? So they're not scared to follow through on what risk is. They're not scared of. That's why they're so overly obsessed with it, because it is just life. It's the point of living. It's the purpose of living. Because this life, they believe that this life is all about taking risk, and you can never start living when you fear to take risk.
Yeah. Okay, that's very nice idea. That's very nice answer. I love that. Yeah. And one thing that I picked from what you said, that I've also been thinking about it, and now I just heard you say, is that I think that it's better to know, like, for example, now when I started self-improvement, right? I didn't know what I was doing was called self-improvement. I was just doing it, and then along the line, I found out that okay, this is basically what self-improvement was. And that period now, when I didn't know that this thing is self-improvement, I was just basically going about life, enjoying it. I basically didn't know that there are things that this new journey will there are effects it will have on me, right? So when the effects started showing, I was like so fucking confused, right? So it's just basically the thing now. In as much as it's not just basically about doing something, it's about knowing what you're doing now. Yeah. Now life, like I said, now life is all about risk. Yeah. But the people that will end up like living the best life is people that know. Yeah. Even like people don't know that going to bed is a risk, right? People don't know that walking on the road is a risk. Like they don't like you said, basically everything is a risk, but people don't know that it's a risk. Now people that now end up making the best out of life is people that know that these things are actually risk, right? So it goes basically beyond. It goes basically beyond like doing it. You understand? So I love that. I seriously love that answer. Okay. So how do you personally decide when a risk is worth taking? Like let's say criterias or maybe whatever that you can decide and say, okay, yeah, this risk is actually worth taking.
So on a personal basis, I don't just decide. I have like what's it called? Like what I say processes before I take a risk.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to believe, right, that it is the right one. Right, so you can't still be having doubts in your mind about the risk you're about to take. Then you also have to have facts to back your belief up. Do you understand? Like for example, now I started learning forex, right? I have to first believe everything. Like I said, everything is about risk. Is that's my whole 6 months. The whole 6 months where I started learning forex and got to where I am today. The initial decision to start learning forex was a risk, right? And then now I have to first believe that this is something that is worth chasing, is what is it called, learning, right?
No.
And then why do I have to believe that? The facts have to back me up. People I know have made money from this thing. People that I personally see every day cash out from this thing. I also got inspiration from people online. Do you understand? Yeah. So I was like, this is where it is. This is the facts that is backing me up, right? And the truth about it is something that it is like knowing forex is you can implement it in not just the charts, but the ideas, the patterns, the strategies, things that you can implement it in your daily life. So it was something that I resonated with, right? The risk, I resonated with it, I believed in it, and there were facts that were backing my belief. So it was all these things together. I looked at it, three things together, and I was like, yes, this is the risk I'm willing to take. Do you understand? So I first had to believe that it was worth chasing. Yeah. Right? I didn't have to have doubt in my mind, because the moment you start to have that, it starts to block your success journey. Yes, you have every right to have that, but you have to reduce the doubt you have and increase the belief
Yeah.
you have. So I had to do that. I had to just believe in it, right? Keep no doubts, like reduce the doubts I had with it at the initial point. I have no doubt today. I have no doubts about forex because it is what it is. It was worth chasing, right? And I've loved every single journey. I've loved every single step I've taken through my forex journey, right? Then I had to make my findings. This thing that I'm doing is worth chasing, right? In as much as I believe that it is, the facts should back me up here. I have to have like reasonable things before I back myself up. So that it was legal, right? It wasn't anything illegal. It was legal. This is a six-star billionaires, not just any average trader does. This was all banks. They do it. They trade. Every single financial institution, firm, big hedge funds, they all trade the markets, right? This was a fact backing up. I had people who also traded the market and cashed out. It wasn't just a scam or a policy or anything that like a Ponzi scheme. So it was my facts had to back my belief up, and then the moment my facts backed my belief up, it was just for me to now like go to the next stage, which was basically me now understanding that this has to resonate with me. I have to resonate with it, right? It might be legal, yes. I have to believe in it, yes. But what connection would I have from this thing? What gains can I just? It's not. It can't just be only about financial gains. I have to personalize it, right? I have to personalize it too, so that yeah, it was something that was worth chasing, right? I saw that it was something that really taught me a lot about humanity, understanding life in general. So yes, for in as much as you can just get the knowledge of forex is just to trade the market, it's also to trade your life, it's also to understand life, to analyze how life is. Analyzing the market just like analyzing how humanity and life works, right? The knowledge you gain from it is also the knowledge you need to scale through life. So these were the things I was picking from it. So I personalized it, believed in it, and I made my findings about it. So these were the risks. These were the certain things that you would need to do before you take a risk. I feel like this was things I banked on to take before taking that risk.
Yeah. So okay. I actually love that idea. The part talked about beliefs and then backing it up with facts and then going after it with your whole heart. Understand? Personally, my own view on when to take a risk is it's just sometimes I don't like overthinking things, right? So because for me, in a way, overthinking like it kind of like kills the fire. It kind of like pouring water on the fire. So I'll just ask myself, will this thing contribute to me having a better life? Will this thing contribute to people around me having a better life? Yes. If yes is the answer, I'm going. You understand? So you can have your own criteria for taking risk. You can even develop your own personal criteria for taking risk, right?
Yeah.
You don't basically have to follow what I say. You don't basically have to follow what Tony said because we are different individuals with different mindsets and perspectives, and you have to learn to sometimes. In as much as there are some information that can be shared generally, there are also some things you need to stay and do on your own personally. You understand?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you this question when you said something about belief. Like it made me to now think about religion. So I wanted to ask you, like, do you think like religion teaches us to avoid or encourage risk? Like, do you think religion basically? You don't know the religion, so let's say Christianity. Do you think that Christianity like encourages or discourages risk?
First of all, do you think that going out to evangelize is not a risk taking? You're taking a risk, right?
Yeah.
In a world full of different religions, different beliefs, Christian, who is banking on the fact that God exists, or like banking on the fact that God exists and Jesus Christ is the Son of God, right? Using that belief already is just basically you taking the risk, and you going out to go and preach it. Is you taking the risk. So, do you think it's worth chasing? Yes, people believe it's worth chasing. There are facts to back it up that yes, Jesus Christ did exist, right? So now you're personalized. Those people personalized it, and that is why they chose the path where they have to follow and then preach what's it called, the gospel, going out to preach the gospel, right? Not being scared to preach the gospel. That is taking risk, right? So Christianity does encourage us to take risk. For example, it's not just Christianity in general. Just believing in God already is one thing. It's already a risk because these people that believe in God, they believe that if you believe in God and you believe in Christ, right? You believe that he died for us, you go to heaven.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you think it's worth chasing?
Yeah.
You think it's worth chasing? Why? Because you believe in it. You personalized it. You pray to God. You personalize your prayer, and then you had people have came out with facts. People have come out with facts. You've done your research. You've done your findings, and you see that yes, you're banking on those three things basically in life to propel you to continue to take that risk that you just always have that in mind that yes, chasing that life that God is asking us for is worth it.
Yeah.
So that's just it's a risk at the end of the day because there's still a possible chance that everything we've been told about Christianity about God is a lie.
Yeah.
Right? A chance. But then you believe that God exists, right? So it's the risk you're taking. So yes, religion in general actually pushes us to taking risk. Like I said, it's all about nature, right? It's the nature of humanity to have risk in their lives. It's the nature of humanity to always want to take risk. People that came up with ideas that they came up with ideas, having to push that ideas to become reality is already a risk on its own. Yeah. Because you have the option of not pushing it. So once you know that you have options and then you have the choice to make, you know that you're about to take a risk. Right?
Okay.
So that's just the whole point of life. And I believe in life, there's always options. There's always options to choose.
There's always a choice.
There's always a choice to make. So the moment there's always a choice to make, there's always a risk to take.
Yeah. Okay. Basically everything you've said now is very inspiring. Like you've basically told our audience why they need to start taking risk, why risk is important, how it will help you, right? Now is one thing to know, is another thing to know how to do, right? So like can you like just maybe give them something that they will use or how they can start building their risk muscles? Like like risk is like basically a muscle. You understand? Like the more you do it, the better you become at it. So like can you like tell them how to develop this muscle?
So in trading, right? In trading, there's something called risk management, right? So these traders believe there are traders that don't make money from the markets.
Yeah.
They end up not making money from the markets. Why is that they don't end up making money from the markets? These people are very good at analyzing the trades, right? They're very good at getting into like sharp entry, basically. Like there are some people that are good at entry, that are good at analyzing trade, but they don't know how to what's it called, make a sharp entry. They don't know how to get their best, have a best entry. You understand? Getting draw down. So those people that have the idea about trade, how to analyze the trade, they've amassed a lot of knowledge. They know how to enter the trade at the best time. They end up not still making money. It's because of their risk management, right? I see some guys, they don't trade the stop losses, right? The idea of stop losses is to the one thing that the traders will tell you if they want to start trading is your initial thought should be how to learn not to lose money. Not how to learn to make money, but how to learn not to lose money. And that is basically managing your risk. And in a trade, you always have something that there's what you want to make in that trade, and there's what you are willing to lose in that trade. The first one they will tell you to learn is how to set your stop losses well. The moment you know how to set your stop losses well, you have no problem again, right, in actually making money, because that's just how trading is. So yes, this question that you asked me, what is the most important thing, like the way to go about it, I'm telling you there's different ways to go about it. But then one common way to go about it is basically going back to yourself. Like I said, making your findings, making your research. In trading, there's something called area of interest, and then these are basically points where what's called various what's called structure. These are basically where various points where price might have touched. So it's very respected, especially in the higher time frames. So some people decide to set their stop losses around that point, or just slightly below that last that what is it called, slightly below their area of interest, which is a very which my at the end of the day is a very good way to set your stop loss.
Yeah.
Right. Some persons decide to set their stop loss where maybe you're using an indicator like an what's called moving average. They decide to set their stop loss on the moving average. So some and it's just how well you set your stop losses, right?
Yeah.
Then the reason why they were able to set their stop loss there was because they had to first look at points where price has come, respected points. So they had to go back to making their research on the charts, with the charts, making their analyzing previously what has occurred. Do you understand? So that is making your research, making findings, getting to know the facts about these things, right? If you're going to invest in crypto, invest in what's it called, Bitcoin, invest in any real estate, invest in whatever business you want to invest in. What is the trend? First of all, in forex, what's the trend? Right? What is like previously has this what's called, what has basically surmassed from it, right?
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons to these things? Do you understand?
Okay.
What is the current trend? Again, that's another one thing you should know before you even enter a trade, is to know your the current trend. What's the current trend, right? Is this world moving into a digital age? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So the moment you know that yes, the world will move into digital age, so when you invest in digital skills or investing in whatever and what's it called,
Tech company.
it's, you know that originally you know that yes, it is a good investment to make. Do you understand? Now, hearing from them, the what has basically like been like the interest, like how do I put it, the points where points in, like in trading, the prices where, like I said, the area of interest. So these are the researches you have to go and make. Understand, before you set your stop loss. And then the idea of all these things, right, comes together. You have your facts to back yourself up, right? You have your mainly your facts to back yourself up. Because the moment you have your facts to back yourself up, then you are sold the idea. The idea itself is a selling point, right? And these people, is this thing actually like what's chasing after?
Yeah.
That's the belief. So you have to now find your belief. Is this thing actually worth chasing after? Would this be a good trade? Like a trader would this be a very, very good trade at the end of the day? So yes, these are the things, certain steps you need to take. Right? I personally I would take if I'm making investments. Right?
Okay.
So if I could go through this and I've seen that it's working for me, right? These are the three structures I will give you. You know, personalizing it, believing in it, and then basically making your findings first. You actually have to make your findings first. You believe in it, then you personalize it. These are the three techniques that you need to take. You understand?
Yeah.
So the moment you've made your findings, you know that yes, and now I have to start believing that this is going to work. And the moment you start believing that this is to work, you have to put all your mind and effort into basically making it a success. So these are the three steps you need to take when taking a risk, or making a risk, that basically that's what I do basically. So you do it, and then you see it's going to work for you. Definitely it's going to work for you.
Yeah, but that's the thing now. The answer you gave, I love it, spectacular, right? But there's this thing about, let's say you give it your all the first time, right? Then it doesn't work. You understand? This is where 99% of the people give up.
Yeah.
Understand that kind of thing. Let's say they are not. Let's say a person that is not used to risk, right? He listens to this podcast and he's charged up, and he does everything and he takes his first risk, and then after everything he did to take his first risk, it didn't work out, right? It's that is where the pain hits the hardest.
Yeah.
So like, I want to ask you, like, maybe is there anything that can be done at this stage, right? After you took that first step, and basically, not that it worked 10%, like it didn't work, zero, crashed everything, like back to square one. Like, you just took that first step. You boldly took that first step. Not that the first step was very easy. Yeah, you boldly took that first step, and after you just took that first step, you just sank.
So, like I said, this person that's charged up at the initial point is just like you always call it dopamine, initial dopamine, it will fade away.
Yeah.
But the truth is, like I said, belief, facts, and then personalization. These three things are still very much important. The moment you have a belief in something, like for instance, a Christian who cries out to God every single day, prays, he wants to make A in this course, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't end up making A in that course. Do you think that Christian who believed in God, do you think he will just give up on God? No. Because of the belief. When you know you have a strong belief in something, right?
Yeah,
you won't just give up at a particular. That's the point. That's what the point I'm trying to make. Belief is not just something that should die. When you know that, once you know that, you give up at the initial point, right?
Yeah.
It means you didn't effectively make your research on that specific niche.
Yeah, or you didn't just basically
And
believe for the start.
you didn't just believe from the start.
Yeah.
Right? Because once you make an investment and it doesn't work out for you, you should know that the point of a risk is that it can go either ways.
Yeah.
So having that in mind, you should know that that's the facts to back yourself up. Like that should be one of the facts that you've made, the research you made. The point of your investment is that it might go either ways. There's no guarantee. You understand? There's no guarantee. So you have to make peace with the idea that before I take a risk, this thing I'm doing is not a guarantee. So you've already made peace with yourself. Now, that is why the most important thing in trading is that they teach you that you should learn how to not lose money.
Yeah.
Right? The reason why they say is not that you will not lose money. If you learn how to not lose money, you will not lose money. But they know you are going to lose money. But you should learn that the money you are putting in that initial time is not something that it should be something that you are willing to lose. So you are basically personalized yourself. Personalized it. You basically made it known that, like, this is what I am willing to give out. Right? Yeah. You're going with your whole heart. You're going with your full chest. I'm willing to put 100k on the line. I'm willing to put 100,000k on the line in this specific trade. Do you understand? So now you have personalized it. You've believed in that risk you're taking, and then you have made your findings. Like if you do these three things, it's in as much as it might just sound like yes. It means if you do these three things, there's no way you would give up on the way. Right? I know a lot of traders that at their first trade they blow their account. You know Jeffrey Benson blew his first trade account. Have you forex? His money he blew his first account. You know, big forex traders like Dapo Willis, he blew his first account. Big what's it called? James Paragon or something that they call him. He blew what's it called, his first trade. These people blow their first trade. I know people personally that blew their first trade. When I started trading, I blew my first trades. I blew it multiple times. Do you understand? So you should know that once you start something, before you start something, you should have made your findings. Right? You made your research. Right? Have your facts to back your belief up. Then you believe in that thing, right? Then you personalize it. Then once you start doing it, you know that in as much as whatever results might come after it, you will not give up on it because you know that this result at the end of the day, right? You know that your idea about that thing is that you can still make money from it in as much as the initial results or the initial result was this, right? You know that's saying that yes, the war might have been won, the battle might have been won, but the war is not over.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So the moment you have that idea in mind, that yes, I might have lost this battle today, but the war is not yet over. You just keep on going, and that's the mindset you should go in, the belief you should go in with, the fact to back yourself up, and then personalization, basically making it something that you will chase with your whole heart, that you're willing to do. Do you understand? You're not being forced to do it. It's your willingness to do it, right? Those are the three things that basically that I will give to you in this musical.
Wow. So like basically, this particular episode for me it was basically very, very enlightening. Thank you so much for everything you said, for being with us. Yeah. And there's one thing that I would just like to add. You see the thing about risk, the moment you decide to take risk, especially your first 5 risks, especially your first risk in life, you're basically like a guy, like a full-grown guy, like that have body and everything. You're basically standing on the thread. You're not balanced. you're not balanced. Like you can either fall back to where you've been your whole life or where you want to be. Like you're basically standing on a trail. Now, the worst thing you can do when you're at that moment is to start asking people for their opinions. You start asking. Then just the moment you ask, you have lost balance completely. You understand? In as much as I'm not trying to say that they don't love you or whatever, they love you. You understand? Family and friends and all that.
Yeah.
But when you want to take a risk, don't involve family and friends. Especially when you want to take a money risk, then you gotta involve your family who basically knows nothing about money.
Exactly. That's,
You
that's what I
understand?
wanted to say. Like, before you you want to get advice and opinions about people, you don't ask people that are not in that niche that you
Yeah,
want.
they're not in that niche.
They're not in that.
Yeah, right.
You want to make a money risk. You want to make an investment. You're going to ask someone that doesn't know anything about investment.
Yeah.
Never ventured in it, right?
Yeah, actually, sometimes it's better to actually take advice from ChatGPT than some It's actually true, yeah. Because when you're at that point now, you're basically not balanced. You're scared and all that. And then any advice you get, for example, now your brain is mostly ticking towards one thing. If your brain is ticking towards like let's say your brain is sticking towards your initial lifestyle, which is don't take the risk, but that higher being is calling you and telling you to take the risk now. So then that person just says that person just basically tells you no, don't do it. You kind of tend to feel at ease that okay, yes, this guy told me what I have wanted to hear for a while. You understand? So that's basically it for this episode 6 of risk and why billionaires see it as opportunities while church rats see it as danger. Now, next week Wednesday we'll be having our 20th episode, and we are going to be organizing a fan review, right? So the topic is, if we gave you the mic for 60 seconds, what would you say, right? So the link to the answer where you're going to drop the answer in is on our bio. You understand? So go there, drop your answer, and next week Wednesday, whatever your answer is, whatever you say, a confession, a truth, a fact, whatever it is, we'll read it out live on our podcast. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.